Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the dangers of letting your cat outside, whether it's as an indoor-outdoor cat or an exclusively outdoor cat. So the biggest and most obvious piece of evidence for this is that indoor cats usually live an average of 12 to 17 years, and I'm sure that you've heard of your neighbors or friends' cats living into their early 20s, but outdoor cats only live an average of 2 to 5 years. So they face a whole lot more danger than indoor cats, obviously, and they also are not as closely monitored, because if you have an indoor cat that's with you all the time, you're going to spot any small change in their behavior. But if they're an outdoor cat, not only could the changes in behavior happen when they're away from you, you may also just attribute it to them going outside and maybe being tired. So the world's not really kind to cats, especially the modern world with cars and everything else. So unfortunately, we live in a world where people will attack cats, especially if they think they're strays. There's even been a story in the news recently of a veterinarian shooting what she thought was a feral tomcat with an arrow and killing it, and it turns out to have been her neighbor's cat. She was, I believe, suspended for this. There's also cat fights, especially if you live in an area with a lot of other cats, especially if they're feral and not fixed. They could be hit by cars, and they could be attacked by other animals. In areas like ours, foxes, coyotes, and animals like that can all attack cats, and even hawks will attack adult cats. These injuries can range from cat bite abscesses, which can be really nasty, to broken limbs, to gunshot and arrow wounds. So cats fight, especially if they're not fixed, and this can lead to cat bite abscesses, which often will end up involving several really expensive vet visits. It can also cause severe nerve damage, so what may seem to be a simple bite can turn into something that can actually be a limb. And FIV and feline leukemia can also be transmitted through saliva and bite wounds. And those are both chronic diseases that either prove fatal or fatal indirectly, like how HIV will develop into AIDS and proves fatal by a secondary infection. And both of those diseases are really hard to deal with. A lot of the time, if someone brings in a stray cat that has one of these diseases, they'll just be euthanized rather than put up for adoption. And if the cat's not properly vaccinated, rabies is still a really big risk in everywhere but Australia. And parasites also become a pretty big risk for outdoor cats, whether it's fleas or worms. And cats also will develop physical illnesses from stress. One of these illnesses is cystitis, or a bladder infection. So this is really prevalent in outdoor cats that come in contact with fixed cats when they're neutered. This is just one of the many illnesses they can get, and since cats hunt and they will encounter things like rats, they can also get leprosy. And then environmental dangers also include poisons and toxins. They can get into things like rat poison, and they also can encounter plants that many people have in their yards, like lilies. Every part of a lily is toxic to a cat, and they can be toxic in really small amounts. This includes pollens. Even if your cat doesn't tend to chew on grass or other things, they can brush past a lily and then get poisoned by it if they lift the pollen off their fur. And this is just one example of the many fatal plants out there for cats and other animals. So then the environmental impact from cats on their environment. This is really area specific, so it's pretty hard to pin down. But they're highly efficient predators, and even if they're perfectly well fed at home, they're going to hunt outside. They may hunt as much as an unfed cat. Outdoor cats also have a really devastating impact on local wildlife, especially where they're not native. And since cats are domesticated, they're not really native anywhere anymore. So this can be just about everywhere. They also have a pretty bad impact on already endangered species. In one case recently, a single cat killed 46 endangered birds, and he drove the rest of them off from the important nesting site. This is also a pretty big problem in Australia because they don't have any native predators similar to the cat. And in this case, they're taking pretty drastic measures to get rid of these feral cats, including poisoning them. And a lot of people will say that they need their cats to go outside to get exercise or entertainment. But even in a small space, you can provide a lot of entertainment for a cat. And in terms of exercise, it is really true that many indoor cats are overweight and have a higher risk for that. But a lot of cat owners free feed instead of feeding them controlled amounts. And if you both provide the entertainment, which will get them exercise, and limit their food, this won't be a problem. So for increasing cat entertainment, there's a lot of ways you can do this. You can of course play with your cat. You can also put toys around the house. Lots of cats like strings hanging from the edge of a table, or they might enjoy a puzzle feeder or a cat tree. You can also take them out on a leash, and this is obviously easier to do if you're starting with a kitten, but you can also build them an enclosure or just supervise them so they don't get out of your yard. Window perches are a really good way. My cat will sit in front of our windows for hours watching the birds. And then if you try to transition a cat, this can be the trickiest part, but my cat was a stray we found in our backyard, and we tamed her gradually until we could bring her indoors. If you provide warmth, food, shelter, and enough stimulation, any cat will become happy indoors. But if they truly are not settling in, you can go back to leash training or building an enclosure for them. Oops. My photos didn't move.
Oh, they didn't move, okay. Let's give her a round of applause. Questions, comments? Cats, let's see, what did I think about? Even if a cat, so you know there's rat poison and directly that would kill a cat. But even if the cat eats a mouse or a rat that was killed by rat poison, they can still die because enough of the anticoagulant is still present. And then I have known dogs, I've never owned any of these dogs, but there are some dogs that love to kill cats. I think it was years ago, one of the, we had some cattle at a Purdue farm, but it was kind of like a separate from the main farm. And there was a dog there, and I remember, I'll never forget, one time I came to do something with the cattle, and here's this big dog, and I'm trying to figure out what's in its mouth, because it was like something big, and I didn't know if it was a rat or not. No, he had gotten a cat, and it was probably dead in his mouth, but he was just that mad at cats for some reason.
Someone dropped 5 kittens off a couple years ago at our barn, and no one had done anything yet, and within a couple of weeks, my parents dogs had killed them.
Yeah. Yeah, it is risky out there. And cats can live 20 years. I mean, it is amazing how long they can live inside, so. Okay, we're gonna move on to Bloss.